So a little to my background. I am a tattoo artist. I've done an apprenticeship the first year of tattooing. I work as a tattoo artist for 4 years now and I opened a studio recently. Me and my family are invited to a wedding that is taking place in another state. My cousin is marrying and we got the invitation a few months ago. Time has moved forward and now the wedding is in a week already. Out of the blue my cousin, let's call him Matt, texted me with something along the lines of "You're gonna tattoo me on my wedding day." I was a bit confused as I never even thought of bringing my equipment, since I also didn't plan a guest spot or anything. Guest spot is a tattoo artist working at another studio for a few days or weeks, mostly in a different area to grow the clientele. I jokingly asked if he has a machine, as I still hoped that he wasn't serious. He then just asked if I don't have one? And that one machine wouldn't take up that much space to take with. I replied that I didn't plan on bringing my equipment, that in fact contains more than just a machine, color, hygiene stuff, stencil that's the purple stuff you put on the skin to then trace the tattoo with actual needles, etc., and that I'm not prepared to tattoo at a wedding of which I don't know anything about, layout of the location, is it inside/outside and so on. He then said that he had planned on this and that it would mean a lot to him to both get a tattoo on his wedding day and that I'd be the one to tattoo him. Remember that this is the first time I'm hearing this. I again tried to explain that I don't feel comfortable with that and that it's quite short notice as I work until me and my brother fly over to attend the wedding and a tattoo needs to be designed first, right? He saw my message but didn't reply anymore. This morning my mother called and she was furious. She asked why I couldn't pull my shit together and just tattoo Matt. I told her what I've previously told Matt as well, but she didn't want to hear it. She just said it would mean a lot to her and Matt's family if I do that and that it could be my wedding gift. Then she hung up. I talked to my brother about it and he just shrugged it off and said it would be nice of you, though I'm unsure what to do now. As I said, I'm not really comfortable with the whole situation, especially because I've never been guest spotting, so I never had to travel let alone get on a plane with my equipment. But is that just selfish? I mean, it would mean a lot to apparently everyone and I'm just saying no? Edit. 1. I do have an actual wedding gift already as they sent out a wish list with their invitations. There was a point that said artwork, because they recently moved into a bigger house and apparently they want random artwork to decorate. I oil painted them a painting I spent several days on, so I also don't plan to give him a voucher as a gift. 2. Maddie doesn't have any tattoos as far as I know. 3. I don't know what my mom's problem is with all of this. I think she just wants to keep the peace. Comments. Oop expands on why it's such a bad idea. Oop, I especially don't understand why I should tattoo at a wedding since you can't, or shouldn't, combine getting tattooed with drinking alcohol and knowing Matt. There will be plenty of alcohol at this wedding. Commenter. Really? And does that mean you can't drink as well? This would be a hard no from me. Oop. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to drink either, but up until now I haven't even thought of that. Commenter. It's inappropriate of him to expect you to work for free at an event to which you're a guest. Are you even licensed to tattoo in the other state? The entire thing sounds ludicrous. Tell your cousin your hourly rate, billed and the peer rate for hauling your equipment, and he needs to cover your flights and hotel. After all, flying in a trained professional to perform a service costs money. Oh, and he needs to pay up front since this is a special service. Oop, I am actually licensed. And I mean, I would ask for money, but apparently they planned this as a wedding gift, like my mom suggested. I can't imagine what they are even thinking. Commenter. They plan this as a wedding gift, from you? Cause that's pretty presumptuous and against some kind of, like, wedding etiquette. I always thought any mention of gifts by the wedding couple was some kind of faux pas. NTA. Oop. Especially since they have an actual list of things they want to be gifted. I mean, there was a point that said artwork, but if they wanted me to tattoo Matt as a gift they could and should have reached out as they sent out their list. Commenter. And is there a honeymoon happening right after the wedding? If they're going anywhere where swimming is involved, he won't be able to swim with a fresh tattoo. Oop, I thought of that too. They are going to Bali. I doubt that he had considered not being able to go swim or being in the sun at all. Commenter. They're being unreasonable and making things weird for no reason. NTA. And I just wouldn't go if they keep being like this. Oop, I did think about not attending. It would be sad not to, but this is also very uncomfortable and I don't think everyone has let go of it by then. Commenter. NTA, but disclaimer, I'm petty. I would find out who the bride is and tell her. This would hijack the wedding. Explain to her or her mo or mom that you would need several hours to set up, clean, do the actual tattoo, that this would take over her whole wedding. Then sit back and watch the shitfest. Oop, I'm actually not sure if the bride is in on this or not. I'm not close with her at all. Commenter. Does he have any other tattoos so that he understands how long it could end up taking? He could theoretically want anything at this point. This is such a ridiculous request. Oop, I don't think he has any tattoos, and with that, no concept on how tattooing actually works. Popular_document 1399, NTA. What is really wrong with your mother? Honestly, while I am not a tattoo artist, I think it's unethical and unprofessional to engage in tattoo services at a wedding or other place other than your studio. If Matt wants to have a tattoo done, tell him to come to your studio and you can do it for him before or after the wedding as a wedding gift, not during the ceremony. Geez, this is so ridiculous. Update 1. So the last hours have been a lot. First I called my mom and wow, she asked me again, this time very friendly, if I want to tattoo Maddie at his wedding, and again I said no, with all the reasons I've previously given her plus some of the very good points you guys had. Before she could say anything else, I added that I felt like she wouldn't take me and tattooing seriously. She didn't say anything for a bit until she tried to explain that she really thought it wasn't a big deal. I told her again that it is and that my mom of all the people should know how my job works. She agreed and apologized profusely. I then asked her if she'd like to attend and watch me work on a client's appointment, and to my surprise she said yes. Mom is tagging along tomorrow. Now to Maddie, or rather his bride. I finally got hold of the bride, let's say her name is Becky, and asked her about the request her fiancé confronted me with. She seemed surprised as she apparently had heard from my aunt that I made them something for their new house. She assumed it would be a painting since I'm the artist of the family and it's known that I also paint. I confirmed that, but that Maddie has come forward with this out of the blue and that it's not a good idea for many reasons. She agreed with me immediately. I think she does have tattoos. She thanked me for telling her as no one else did. Becky seemed really mad, but she seemed to pull herself together. I would have lost it. I'm assuming Becky confronted Matt after our call because only 3 to 4 hours later I checked the family group chat and there was a message from Becky. There will be no ceremony on the 13th as Matt and I decided we aren't getting married. Matt and I have things to figure out, so please text or call us tomorrow if you have questions. For the rest of the day we'll be on flight mode. After dinner Becky called me and apologized for Matt again. She said it was a stupid idea of his and that he just thought it would be cool. She then informed me that she still wants me to fly over for the wedding day as she will be hosting a party instead of a wedding. Everything is paid for anyways and she doesn't want anything to go to waste. I asked if they broke up. Not yet, but I'm gonna stay at my sister's place until next week. I'm assuming Matt hasn't been too great, but I'm sure I'll hear about it. Apparently my brother and my mom aren't invited. Lol. My call must have been the last straw, but as far as I am concerned Becky is handling it gracefully and Matt will be okay too, I'm sure. So I'm going to a party, but did I just make a new friend? Thanks y'all for having my back. Update 2. Welcome back. I'm finally done writing this. Thanks to everyone coming back and reading this. I appreciate y'all and love that you are enjoying the tea. So because a lot of you wanted to know how the bring your mom to work day was, I picked her up in the morning and we headed to the studio. I showed her around, told her a few background stories about some of the artworks and photos that are hanging on our walls and explained her my routine as I prepared everything. My client arrived and I handled it like I usually would, just with my mom sitting there. Lol. I explained every step of the process and she also asked me questions about my ink, needles, technique, etc. It was a lot of fun having her around and she really did surprise me with her openness and interest. When I was done with tattooing my mother had to leave for work, but thanked and hugged me for bringing her along, as she not only enjoyed spending time with me but also loved seeing me doing my job so professionally and said that she sees my work and efforts now. To the wedding/party, the party started at 1400 hours as the ceremony was cancelled. I arrived and was immediately welcomed by Becky's sister. She hugged me and helped me with my painting. Everyone was outside, drinking and having a small bite already. I went to say hi to Becky and she hugged me warmly. She seemed tired but otherwise fine. Becky was also smiling a lot, which surprised me. I went to mingle as I didn't want to start off with questioning her. Lol. I met a lot of her friends and apparently the most of them weren't too fond of Matt. I heard a few things of how he tried to change Becky to be more like his ex and stuff like that. Not a great look. Maddie, speaking of, not a single friend or relative of Matt was around. Besides me and one other cousin. Later as we sat down to eat, I asked if could join Becky's table. They said yes, so I was sitting with Becky, her sister and 3 of her friends. I introduced myself to one of them, haven't talked to him before, and Becky added that I'm Matt's cousin, the one who was supposed to tattoo. A simultaneous "oh" came from everyone. And with that, the conversation was about Matt from the get-go. I asked what happened. The sister just rolled her eyes and was like, what didn't? Becky and friends told me, a while ago Matt has apparently started to pick on Becky for being herself in various ways. It started small, like asking her to change her sports routine from workouts to only running. Then he criticized her cooking as he prefers to eat more meat and more traditionally. They discussed these topics and it always seemed fine, but he didn't stop. He asked her if she couldn't let her hair grow or get extensions, and speaking of hair, if she couldn't get them bright. Becky has shoulder-long black hair. More and more seemed to pile up until he also started to make comments along the line of "can't you be more like my ex?" As I understand it, he didn't say it specifically, but it was clear he meant it like that. His ex is from Texas. I was shocked. I asked why she didn't break up because of that, but Becky explained that in the situations it didn't seem as bad as when you list those reasons. She had also made a few changes to make Maddie happy but continued to do what she wanted most of the time. Time went on and the issues resurfaced again and again in different ways. The last big fight was only a few weeks ago, when Maddie called Becky by his ex's name. They somehow settled this, so let's skip forward to when I called Becky about the tattoo idea. After our call she went up to Matt and asked him why he didn't talk to her about it and why he would just decide doing something like that on their wedding day. He explained that he wanted to surprise her and stuff like that. Becky went on telling him this wasn't happening and that she wanted to be able to enjoy the wedding and their honeymoon. Again, they seemed to agree in the end and he apologized. But later, this almost threw me, as Becky was starting to cook dinner and Matt was sitting at the counter. They talked about tattoos again, apparently really chill discussion about tattoos in general, and Becky asked him playfully what he intended on getting tattooed. He gestured across his chest and said, "I want my birth date, our wedding date and your birth date, so, insert his BD, June 13th 2024, insert BD." Becky said she went blind for a millisecond. That third date was in fact not her birthday. She asked him again and he repeated the same dates. She then said that this isn't her birth date. He persisted that it was and that she should stop trying to fool him. She said she started to cry and ran to get her purse to show him her driver's license. That's when his face slipped. He tried to get out of it by making excuses that he isn't good with dates etc., but Becky just went straight to her phone and checked Facebook. She found his ex's profile showing her birthday. It was the date he would have gotten tattooed on his chest, if I hadn't said no and also called Becky. My dumbass cousin would have ended up with the birthday of his ex-girlfriend next to his wedding date. Becky said he more or less told him it was over and that this is enough. She started to immediately reorganize the whole wedding and honeymoon while kicking him out of the house. A bit later she called me back. She also mentioned that she didn't want to say what happened on the phone as she thought I might tell my family and she really didn't want to hear about it. Fair, I get that. Becky changed the honeymoon booking and is now taking her best friend. Also, if you're wondering, Becky's dad is currently the owner of their house as they agreed to slowly pay him back, due to his financial wealth and stability that made more sense this way. As far as I know, Becky is going to stay there. Anyways, that's the tea, folks. This was truly a wild ride and I am pretty sure Becky and I are going to be good friends. We really hit it off. I don't have much dignity left for Matt, so I'm not sure I'll keep the contact at all. Comments, Ren1101. Thanks for the update. What a wild ending. Becky certainly put up with a lot before the tipping point. I was wondering if you know how long Becky and Matt dated before the wedding day? It seems crazy that he would be so sure of the wrong birthday. Like, have they celebrated Becky's birthday before? Has he ever said happy birthday to her on the wrong day? Either way, I'm glad it came out and y'all are living your best lives now without Matt's Dutchiness clouding the way. Suspicious Fruit 243 op. They have been together for about 3 years, I think. Yosara_Hervey. I've got a feeling that Maddie isn't over his ex yet. I assume she's the one who left, because if he's the one who left her he's very dumb, but from what you told us, I wouldn't put this past him. The end of that relationship is a very good thing for Becky, and in some way for Matt too. Now he's free to pursue his ex again, lol. Thank you for the update. Glad your relationship with your mom improved, and now you can distance yourself from the toxic people in your family. Maddie, I'm looking at you. Good luck to you, friend. Update 3. Hi everyone. Not sure if anyone still cares, but I thought I'd give a tiny update on how everything went. First of all, since that question came up a few times, I'm a woman. Well, Becky and her bestie went to Bali as they re-planned. During her vacation we texted quite a bit. Then they came back and we were still texting. First it was all very superficial and polite as she thanked me for telling her about the whole tattoo thing, that I showed up to the party anyways and that I still gifted her my painting etc. We got into other stuff like music, movies and hobbies. We have a lot in common. Turns out she is just as nerdy as me, so we could connect over anime and different games. I never had a female friend to share these interests. She's also coming over for a few days next week. I'm super excited. Anyways, I am super happy how everything went and to see that Becky is doing very good without my cousin lol. I think she's truly relieved and is beautifully blooming. Thanks guys for all your messages and comments, I really appreciate it. Comments, Noctoila88, that's great. BTW, have you heard of Maddie? Suspicious Fruit 243 op. Nothing direct, I've talked to his mother though. Apparently he actually did try to reach out to his ex, but I have no idea what's going on there lol. Becky asked me out? Update 4. Hi. I'm very excited. Becky asked me out on a date. It's only in October as she wants to take it slow and needs more time since the wedding isn't that long ago, but she wanted to make her current feelings clear to me. Comments, Sunflower and Dream. Oop traded in her loser cousin for a new friend, not a bad trade so far. Lucy Aria Rose. Honestly, things seem to have turned out well for Oop. New friend, her mom understands what she does better, and she didn't have to tattoo her jerk of a relative lol. Radis, I still can't get over the shit bird thinking he's going to get a chest piece at his wedding and just keep rocking. It's a fucking wound, it oozes and bleeds and hurts. The wrong birthday was just the shit cherry atop the shit sundae. Chuklin 5, yeah, I've gone to work after a hip and wrist tattoo. While not unbearable, I was able to uncover the hip for periods of time while working due to having a hutch thing on my desk so you can't see below my head. It still wasn't an enjoyable work day. Expecting to dance and honeymoon after a fresh piece, what an idiot. Coffee and Punk records, I am very heavily tattooed. I recently got my stomach done. I work from home and for about a week I was taking calls in gym shorts and a button-down shirt with the bottom few buttons undone. This guy is a moron even before the whole birthday thing is taken into consideration. Mikala, it sounds like the cousin was basically using Becky as a placeholder / stand-in for his ex since he's clearly not over her. Trying to change her to be more like the ex, calling her by the ex's name, and then the birthday tattoos? They've been together for 3 years and he's never bothered to learn what her birthday was because he doubled down on swearing that was her birthday. Yeah, he didn't care about Becky. She was just a doll where he exerted his imagery of the ex onto her because the surety of believing that date was her birthday is definitely giving that he was looking at her trough-tinted glasses and never saw her for her. Glad she got out. Weird pink hair. People being shocked about the birthday thing after them being together 3 years. My ex asked me to call this solicitor when we divorced and she asked me, very embarrassed tone to her voice, what my date of birth was. After 15 years together he still couldn't be asked to remember. So yeah, douches like this really exist.